so first we're going to start out with the corkboard that we found at the free store, some paint, brushes, some blue painter's tape, a scrap of fabric or whatever you want to use, some scissors, and some spray adhesive. So we lined the edges of the frame with blue painter's tape, and then we put our first coat of paint on the frame. So after letting that dry, we added another coat of paint. Alright, then to let that one dry. Now we peeled off our painter's tape to reveal our beautiful clean edges. So we put down a couple more pieces of painter's tape, and these were to make stripes on the corkboard. And we grabbed another color that looked nice with the color of the frame and painted inside those lines of tape to make a stripe. We added another layer, which is probably a good idea when you're painting on corkboard because the cork likes to soak up the paint. Then we added some white to make a paler shade of that color and used that paint to paint the bigger sections. Did another coat of that, and then we let all of that dry. So we peeled off the painter's tape once it was dry, and that revealed those nice strips of blank cork. And that's what we ended up with. So then we took this strip of fabric and placed it where we thought we wanted it, and then trimmed it down to the size that we needed. Then we flipped it over onto a scrap piece of paper and sprayed some spray adhesive on the back, and then placed it down on the board. You might want to wear gloves because that stuff is really difficult to get off your hands. So next we took some Mod Podge and a paintbrush and coated the frame to prevent the paint from chipping. Next we took 5 clothespins and some E6000 glue and placed them down where we wanted them on the corkboard, and then put a strip of glue on the back and glued them down into place. And so for our next project, we grabbed another corkboard, some spray adhesive, a box cutter and scissors, Mod Podge, paintbrush, some scraps of fabric, and a National Geographic magazine, and also some E6000 and a Sharpie. So then we marked off sections on the corkboard where we wanted to cut. We're going to make smaller pieces here. So we took that hole out and left some clean edges. And then we cut the cork into smaller pieces. Then we trimmed down this piece of fabric to the size that we needed it to be to cover the board. And then after spraying spray adhesive on the back, we covered it just like that. And smoothed it out to make sure there were no bubbles. Then we took some strips of magazines and put spray adhesive on the back and lined the edges of the corkboard with it. So then we took some ribbon and put E6000 on it and glued it down in a vertical position and ended up with that. We then took the E6000 on the ends and made sure that they were hidden on the back, and that's what we ended up with. So here's our final project. This is the big board that we made, and then here's the smaller one that you saw. And then we also made 2 other smaller boards, and we'll be giving these away as well. So that's everything. You can find all the information about the giveaway on our social media sites.
Molly, how do you feel about painting?
I love painting.
Do you really?
Yeah, it makes me so happy. It fills me with joy inside.